Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. As you may or may not have noticed, the HUD has been up to date, and the review sheet is up to date, and the audit sheet is up to date. We're going to beat the game today, so let's see how we do. Now we are, of course, going for 100%. So let's go for it. Now we can talk about traversal. So, final dungeon, crystal terrain, of course. I'm going to kind of prioritize getting some of the items here, because again, we want 200%. So let's go right and down. Warp isn't really part of traversal. It's kind of its own category of things. We do count fast travel. It is a thing. Fast travel and waypointing are both things we consider that. Wow, that's insta-kill. Okay. I wasn't prepared for that to damage on the inside, too. Traversal is fun, which is always an important thing. Oh, that's cute. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. What? I didn't even see what killed me. Come on, game. Right. Sorry. There's something really important I forgot to do, or more accurately, didn't have time to do. I need to go check on really quick. Good morning, Spartan. Yes? Hang on, kiddo. Hang on, kiddo. Hang on, hang on. No, you gotta come here so they can see you. Okay, come here. What did you say?
Hi, stream.
Now, I love you very much. And I'm never letting go. Oh no. Oh no, she's getting loose. She's getting loose. No!
I slide it out.
How did you get out? How did you get away?
I lost the stuff here.
It's right here. Here you go.
It was fun. It was a good fun off.
Why did you lose your stuffies? Why did you lose your stuffies? Why did you lose your stuffies? Now, I do need to work, so do me a favor and take your things to your room And if you want to play, do you want me to let you downstairs?
Well, I went so Halo went down.
So you want to go downstairs, yes or no?
Well, I think there's a mystery because someone let the door open that.
So what you're saying is if I tickle you mercilessly. Oh God, she's tickling me. What do I do? What do I do? Ugh.
Heal.
Oh, thank you for healing me. Here.
I heal
Come on,
you.
Tim. Come on.
I heal you.
Up. Here, put your toys in here.
What?
Toys.
Yeah.
I'll go open the door for you. Yeah. Oh man, I love me some peanut butter Snickers. Could you imagine? Someone didn't like peanut butter Snickers. Yeah, everybody stopped watching me because I have adorable nieces. Where's my controller? There it is. That's not the jump button. Okay, one ore down. You know, you could fix that problem, Valerian. Okay. Let's just do this. This is honestly probably easier and smoother. So... what Hazardous is talking about in chat might lead to a new category of positives, which would lead to a round of auditing, but I think we could do that if we have to. I mean, the review system is ongoing, right? That's very much by design. God, this dungeon. Everything here wants to kill me. I'm gonna have to think about that, and by that I mean we're gonna have to think about that, so... It actually is. The review system is absolutely a living document. No. It's, so traversal is something we consider as the very, very basic concept of how fun is it to go from point A to point B? How well designed is it? How much does it add or detract from a game's enjoyment to navigate it, right? And this is something a lot of games have in a lot of directions. But we've never really considered evolving traversal. Now, as I'm saying this out loud, I'm kind of questioning my own thoughts on the matter. I don't know. Let me think about this for a minute. You know what? Actually, I think we're not going to add a new category for that. I've already disagreed with myself. But that's because we already have a category that specifically and implicitly deals with that. And for the curious, that would, of course, be backtracking. I know that sounds like a weird place to put that, but think about that for a moment. The idea of traversal getting better over time and evolving over time is almost always a function of backtracking, of whether or not it's actually good or enjoyable to go back through an area again. Something that Metroid games usually do quite well. I mean, this game, let's be very clear, is the most Metroid of the Metroidvanias I've ever played, personally. This is pretty top-notch. with regards there too. Okay, so we need to go all the way around. Batman eats all the nachos Zach had. He's a nacho fiend. I don't blame him. Nachos are delicious. I mean, everybody eats hot dogs. This is my life now. It's just... We're just gonna tank that. No, absolutely, Rax. Like, because... It's funny because we've just almost... The reason it didn't even occur to me is we've almost never covered good backtracking. It's just really, really rare. I think, actually, we've only covered one game that has good backtracking, and that is Metroid Dread. And, you know, this game. Okay. God, this game is gonna stomp on the score. Have you looked at these positives? Holy crap. Okay, so... Let's go... Like, at this point, the question is not, will this game beat Ori and the Blind Forest 1, because it totally freaking will. The question is, how close will it get to the king that is Metroid Dread? I don't think it's going to pass Metroid Dread, I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to manage that height. But it's probably going to get up there. Oh, okay, that makes sense. What's funny is I keep comparing this game to Metroid Dread. It's partially because this game feels a lot like Dread. A lot. Similar approach to visuals and platforming and combat and exploration and traversal and guidance. Both games are very fun to 100%. Both games have all the information you need in the game. Both games accomplish a lot of the same correct things. Really don't like those damn things. Yeah, I saw that. What? 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 Okay. Dark Pictures games are the best games ever made in the history of the ever. They're so good, I've never even heard of them before. They're that good. Okay, sorry, I just had a weird glitch. We're gonna accidentally get around the giant rolling ball of death, which I didn't even mean to do. I was literally alt tabbing. What? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, hang on. Let's see what chance here. Okay, no, we're okay, we're okay. See, I couldn't put Hollow Knight above Dread, but that's not to say Hollow Knight isn't a great game. It's just, in my experience, there's kind of an exponential curve when it comes to quality, in both directions, actually. When you get to the best and the worst, it starts to really stretch out, you know what I mean? And the percent of a percent kind of a thing starts to happen. And so, Dread, and I say this without hyperbole, Metroid Dread is one of those percent of a percent games for me. It's it's one of the highest rated games we have on the site for a frickin' reason. But even regardless of the score, for me, it's one of those. I don't know what to call it. Actually, I don't really have a term for it. I guess just calling it percent of a percent is a certainly valid way to put that. Because there's the top percent of games, which is larger than you'd think because there's a lot of games out there. But even the top percent of games are fantastic, right? Those are really, really, really good games. But then you can really start to eke out just that extra little bit of quality, and that's when you get to the percent of percent games. So I want to be over there. If you asked me to put money on it right now, I would say Shriek. Exactly, Darkrai. At a certain point, it's just inches amongst miles, because we're just talking about which football field is how many centimeters longer than the other one. Well, I do need 100%. Well, needs a strong word. That was me just hanging there until it decided to aim. Until I ran out of space to fall. Not that's necessarily indicative, but... Could you have fired a little quicker, please? Could you... Okay. Oh, come on. Really? Have you noticed that the bullets actually auto-correct their traversal, or their angle as they go through these, just to prevent the obvious frustrations that would entail otherwise? And now we're just here. Yeah, we're done. Okay. Hey, Javin. Oh, God. Give in, Javin. Give in to the 100%ing side of the Force. Let's hit the wrong button several times in a row there. Thank you for the sub, Javin. Always appreciate. I'll put this towards dealer's choice. So, I don't remember, Javin. I think you've told me, but why are you not, like, picking up the game that I'm currently playing right now? Why, Javin? Why would you do this? I have high hopes for Silksong, but at the same time, it's a pretty big we'll see. I mean, that's valid. Really? That was almost really frustrating. Wrong button. Okay. Yeah, this is definitely a very platformy game. No, really. Like, I know that sounds dumb, but anybody who's played a large amount of platformers like I have knows there's a gradient when it comes to how platformy a platforming game is. It's one of the biggest distinctions between a Metroidvania and a Castlevania Metroidvania. Like, to use a direct example, Hollow Knight is actually not all that platformy, and honestly, neither was Bloodstained or Soten for that matter. By contrast, this, even the Ori and the Blind Forest was reasonably platformy, but Ori and the Blind Forest 2 is extremely platformy. What do you mean, Crazy? Yes, it does. And as always, thank you, Rax. Always appreciate you, really. Ugh. I don't suppose you know what you want to put that towards now that FF14 is funded. Because if you don't, shake fist. Honestly, yeah. This is leaning more towards I want to be the guy. There's definitely a huge focus on the platforming this time around. For better or for worse. The FF14 audit run. Yeah, no. Dawn Trail? Sure. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll call that the same thing we always do nowadays, now that we've got that precedent set. Let's heal. Celeste. There's another platformer. Heavily platforming platformer. I also am unabashedly a huge fan of Celeste, so make of that what you will. Super Meat Boy is a little different, but yeah. Super Meat Boy is what I like to call a punishing platformer. Because the whole point is the punishing difficulty. Although I guess Celeste is also a punishing platformer, so come on. Come on. Or don't. That's cool. think Celeste is actually the only punishing platformer I've ever enjoyed. Memory, anyways. Yeah, Celeste is interesting because, I mean, Celeste is a fantastic game, but good God. I mean, I've almost 100%ed Celeste. I don't remember the exact number because Seaside can go directly to hell. But I got all the strawberries. Even the golden one. And we're dead. They took so long. Sorry. Yeah, if you're wondering what I mean by a platformer, look at the screens we're going through right now. And understand the sheer quantity of instant death that is in all directions. Thank you, Solar Cat. It's not a full 100%, like I said. I got all the strawberries and the golden strawberry. If you don't know what the golden strawberry is, I don't remember the specifics. Someone remind me. It was something absolutely bonkers. You had to do the first, like, series of stages without ever dying, and also something else. Oh, that's it. Without ever dashing. If at any point in time in the first stage you dash, the golden strawberry goes away. And you might think, oh, that's easy. In which case, you're a better person than I am. Yeah, no deaths and no dashes. That just... whooshka. I did get it. It took me a while. It was on the Switch version, specifically. Because, of course, I 100% stuff on the Switch. Okay. Woof, woof, woof. People exist. Left, then. Fine, I'll kill you. Just because you insisted. The decay resists us, Ori. The way to the Spirit Willow is blocked. Oh yeah, this is as good a time as any. So, what is the decay? Anybody in chat who feels like answering? Cute. Well, it's an interesting question you asked there, Christmas. So here's the answer to that question. I'm just going to tell you the answer, because it's a very simple answer. We don't know. I was looking something up, and I happened across an interview, a developer interview, where they were talking about the lore of the series, and they flat out said that they do understand and know what the decay is on their end, but they have deliberately gone out of their way to never tell the players what that means, so the players can come up with their own interpretations, which, if I'm being honest, irritates the ever-living crap out of me. But, you know, whatever. That's cool. That's what I wanted out of my life right now, is a boss in the middle of this nonsense. reason I bring all that up, though, is because it was one of my biggest questions for the game. Something I would, like to go essentially look up, for lack of a better word. Like, hey, so what is this? And who knows if we'll ever actually get an answer to that question. There's not even a word of it. Ori 3. So there may never be an Ori 3, so we may never know, so that sucks. Negative to story. I mean, the decay is bad, but that doesn't really answer anything. Fun fact, the decay was actually in the first game, too. Yeah, but that sure has this. I mean, that doesn't answer anything, really. Either way, I'm not actually giving the game negatives for that, although I'm just admitting that it irritates me when a dev pulls that card. Whether it's a dev or a writer or a screenwriter or anything, it doesn't matter. It just irritates me. You want to not reveal stuff in your game, I can at least understand that, but when someone just says flat out, hey, what is this? Please answer this question, and you decide to be coy about it, that's just irritating. Interesting circumstance here. Well, see, that's why I say it's understandable why some people don't want to put answers in the work. I do that myself. But at the same time, that answer should be... I don't agree, Java. And you know what? I'm just going to let it go, because I know nobody in the world agrees with me on this point. I'm just going to let it go. It's extremely frustrating when someone tries to create mystery by leaving something unexplained. I cannot think of anything that de-invests me more in a product or a story than there not being an answer to something. By the way, notice these instant deaths, spikes and beams do not instant death you. Which, if you don't understand why I'm bringing that up, then you've never played through Mount Horu. That's why I'm bringing it up. Hurt like hell, but you know. I do love me some gradient difficulty. I mean, Lord knows, so I don't want to spoil Jobin, but the answer of who you-know-what is, who was behind Trails of Cold Steel 4, excuse me, who was revealed in Trails of Cold Steel 4, who is apparently behind everything in the entire franchise so far, which, last I checked, we know almost nothing about. Who knows, someday they might finish that series. I mean, I got a question for you, Jobin. What's the One Piece? That's not really a question for Jobin, it's just, like, to use, like, the ultimate example of that kind of thing. We'll probably never know what the One Piece is. That's just gone. That's just gone. Nami is the One Piece. I mean, have you seen that figure? No, that would be really funny. Yeah, I was gonna say, Oda has actually... I've seen interviews, which may be lies, it's worth noting. Interviews do not have to be true. Example, how many of you like the recent Battlestar Galactica reimagining? The recent one, the one that came out over 10 years ago. The only show I mean when I say Battlestar Galactica. While that show was coming out, there were lots of interviews of the creators of that show, which flat out said, yes, no, we do have a plan. We do know where the story is going. We absolutely understand this and that, and we have a strong thing, and we know what we're doing. And it was all a goddamn lie. We now know with total certainty that they had no idea where they were going and what they were doing. They were just making up as they went, and they came up with the ending pretty much at the end. Yeah, kind of like Lost. And that's my point, though. People can lie. I know, that's shocking, but I'm secretly Elvis. And so, it's frustrating because one of the only sources we have of information when it comes to this kind of thing are interviews from people who may be lying. So, Oda has seen... There's been at least 2 interviews I've seen from Oda about the One Piece. One of which was, yes, I know what it is, and the other one is, no, it's not something intangible. Will we ever find out what it is? No. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if it was literally a marketing strategy that he's saying, no, I totally know what it is. Wink. Wink. In order to just keep people hooked, to keep people coming back, wanting to know what the One Piece is. And then, someday he's going to die, and that'll be the end of it. Much nicer. Funny how a bit of decoration here and there makes everything feel better, huh? Believe it or not, all dreams I had for these glades are now a reality, thanks to you. After seeing the sands destroy my work back home, I wasn't sure I had it in me. But I kept my promise, Ori. Together we built a haven for all. I notice even the background's been touched up a bit, too. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Let's do a bit of a tour here. And yeah, so something else that lots of people do, including me, I feel like pointing out, is you have a vague idea of where you're going and what you're doing. But then something occurs, either from your players or from your readers or whatever, and you think, that's not a bad idea. And you think about how you can adjust the story to accommodate. This happened with, for example, I'll give you an example of something that's not a D&D campaign. This happened with Breaking Bad, where the creators of the show were kind of like, and didn't really have a plan for where the series was going to go. And then they brought in a fan as like part of a, hey, come check out the set sort of a thing. And the fan was like, oh, you should do such and such. And they were like, oh, that's a good idea. And lo and behold, that's what they ended up doing. Now, in the interest of credit, the Breaking Bad creators actually admitted that. They have said flat out that that's a thing that happened, rather than trying to be like, oh no, we totally make it up. But yeah, I will freely admit, I myself, primarily in D&D campaigns, am the kind of person who tends to follow lore creep, as Java just puts it. Slowly adding bits and pieces of lore because of the fact that my players thought about A, B, or C, which I didn't. And that's one of the reasons, I've talked about this many, many times, one of the reasons I prefer to write in a group whenever available is because other people are great at prompting ideas that I can then take and run with. This is true with the rewrites as well, for another example of that. Oh, it's 100% now. Okay, apparently we did it. Apparently finishing the quest was it. So, yeah, that is functionally 100%. No, exactly, Java. Different perspectives are always valuable. Well, that's not true. Different perspectives can be valuable. So there's literally 2 items we're missing. That right there, and that right there. And we're going to get both of them. But we'll get back to that in a minute. Apparently I'm missing a shard? Listen, John. Yeah, like I said, I had to walk that back. Not everyone's perspective is valuable. But no, I do almost always value having other perspectives on my thing. It's actually, I can prove this because I stream my reviews, and people's input and feedback has literally formed the review system, along with myself, obviously. You know, we built this review system. You...
Hey,
Yeah, I just got an achievement for that, so I'm assuming that's all of those. Let's double check here really quick.
what panno?
Okay, I have all those.
Haripata.
Apparently I'm missing nothing. Like there's a spot here, and there's one inventory spot. Which game from the ones I've reviewed have I revisited to play in my own time the most? I think if the answer to that is if I've replayed any of them at all, that would qualify, because I generally don't have time to replay games off camera. Having said that, if we're counting before the Oblivion line, then that changes the equation drastically. But I'm counting post-Oblivion line and onwards. I don't think I've replayed any of the games from Oblivion and onwards. That was weird. How do you have a pit? You know what? I'm not gonna question. I'm not gonna question. I usually don't count randomizers, admittedly, but we also haven't reviewed LTTP, and we just reviewed Ori and the Blind Forest. So by that technical definition, that would make Ori and the Blind Forest the answer to that question. Oh yeah, speaking of which, someone asked how many Ori games there are. 2. What is a shard? I know that sounds like a strange statement, but in the context of the game, what is a shard? Like in the terminology. A kit? I am missing one. Hang on, just to be thorough, because that's probably something in the last zone, but just to be thorough, let's just double check. Let's just pull up like a list of all the spirit shards here. Really? Okay, we did actually miss this. There's a whole quest we haven't done, which actually, if you're paying attention, is visible. Right there, it's the lower left one. What's funny is I've encountered this NPC and talked to him, and didn't figure out what to do with him, so I just kind of moved on. Okay, so that's... Yeah, it's diamond in the rough. That's exactly it. It's right there, in fact. So where's the shovel? That is weird that it's like, you've got basically everything, but no, we totally don't. Alright, so there's a shovel somewhere and we need to dig by it. And that shovel... I'm just gonna Google it. So where's the shovel?
Hello, everyone.
Shut up. Okay, so there's the shovel. Give me a map. Give me a map, please. Map? Okay, there's the shovel. That's in a weird location. That is... Where is that? There it is, I see it. I guess we'll go here. See, the defining thing for that, for me, to both Java and Act is, I know, Super Metroid. Would I give Super Metroid a negative for some of the collectibles in that game? And the answer is yes. In fact, I did in the previous review system, which wasn't even as thorough as the current one. Shovel! Good morning, Blade Tavall. Now, in the interest of fairness, I would only give Super Metroid one negative for that. But that just means we'll give this game one negative for that.
Oh, mira.
Yeah, looks a bit rough to the edges, eh? If I were you, I'd show it to an expert. I mean, the whole reason for the gradient pluses and negative system is to have more gradients to things, so... Yeah, scan every wall. Yeah, no, exactly. And what's really irritating about Super Metroid is there's only like 5 power-ups like that in the whole game. I could probably name every single one of them if you gave me a second to think about it. So it's the ridiculous minority, but for some reason they decided, you know what, screw you. And because they did it once, now you're scanning everywhere because you don't know where the actual thing is going to be. Where's... Oh, you're twirling. Oh, a raw shard and in pristine condition. A rare find, oh yes. Most spirit shards I discover already refined, dazzling, beautiful. The artisans of old understood the craft better, you see. Still, I shall polish this as best I can. There we go. I just got an achievement called Completionist. So, that should now be everything other than the 2 things we haven't picked up. Secret. Secret walls become semi-transparent. See, while we're on the subject, something that's like, hey, the scanner ability, but it's just always on for Super Metroid, wouldn't have exactly been gone amiss, but I know, it's a SNES game. Still. Anyways, so that's the last friggin' thing we got. course it is. We've bought everything. We've got everything. Let's do this. He has all the stuff. Hang on. Let me just double check something. Just real quick. Just for the sake of it. Okay. I mean, yeah, I have already recommended to my brother-in-law that he picks up this game. Would I give Zelda 1 the same negative? No. I would give Zelda 1 3 of those negatives. And then I would probably give it other separate negatives. No, I'm dead serious. Zelda 1 is obtuse, and not in a good way. There's a lot of hit every wall, bomb every spot, stab everything, light every bush on fire kind of crap in Zelda 1. Now, I get it. They were inventing a whole lot of new stuff, and so the very idea of what they were doing was pretty new. It was something they were still coming up with. But that doesn't make it any better. It just explains why it's bad. So, there's a reason why I hold LTTP up as the example of when the Zelda series actually started. Yeah, Zelda 1 was revolutionary, and it was. It needs to be acknowledged and recognized. But so was Metroid 1. And, yeah. Damn it. If you don't understand the significance of that, Metroid 1 sucks. To be very, very blunt. Yeah, Metroid 1 required a full, proper remake to be what I would consider acceptable. Now, in the interest of fairness, Zero Mission was actually pretty legit, but you get the point. I disagree with everything that just happened. I disagree with that too. That's okay. We can have disagreements. Wow, that's a hell of a section. All right. I mean, Phantasy Star 2 is on the list, I'm pretty sure. Do I think Metroid 2 is a good game? So I've never played Metroid 2. I think I talked about that when we were playing the 3DS game. I mean, I've played it, but I've never actually gone through it. And no, oh yeah, speaking of which, let's go ahead and chop off the guessing game, shall we? If you haven't gotten your guesses in, this is a really good time to do so, because I'm going to chop it off basically now. So I'm going to go for that other optional thing over there, and that's it. That's your time to do it. Okay, cool. It did not. Just exactly what I wanted in this one case. There. That should be 100% right there. And yep, 100% will as end. Just to be really, really thorough. that save in. I just like to be thorough, Crazy Norris. You know me. Or rather, you probably don't. Hey, Dakota. Get your guesses in. We're lock chime off basically right now. 99%. Yeah, that's probably 100%. If there's something we're missing, then it's the last boss. I'm just going to do a really quick visual sweep here. Yep, cool. Yeah, 8 to 14 is not too bad of an increase in time. 8 to 30, eh. Hello, Dr. Winter. Get your guess in. We're chopping it off. I mean, that's a really normal thing to look at. It's something I have to reiterate several times because some of my viewers still don't understand the concept of there's nothing wrong with enjoying a bad game. It sounds like an insulting statement. It's not. And that's the point that people just don't seem to process sometimes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. We're gonna do this one instead then. Let's know about that. Never jumping. But you know what I mean, like some people seem to think it's just like some kind of thing where you can't enjoy a game that's not perfect. Which is various levels of nonsense. I could have just come here. Whatever. Okay. Chopping off the guessing game right now. This is it. Yeah, what game is perfect? Exactly. The answer is, of course, Final Fantasy VI. Duh. I'm joking, by the way. In case I have to say that, because some people have this weird impression that I am a rabid fanboy of FF6, which is funny to think about. Where's the guessing? Oh, I haven't pulled it up. That's why. I'm looking for the guessing game spreadsheet. Where is it? It's right here. Locking it in. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Triaxia. I don't know how you're enjoying it, but as we just said, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a bad game. Portal is the perfect game. Okay, let's do it. Made it, Ori. The Spirit Willow. The light will be restored to this land. The damage will be undone. Ha! Lol, Dakota. So the final boss will be either the parasite thing, the tentacle thing, or my personal guess. Nothing, apparently? Oh, I had to fight for that negative so hard, but it was kind of funny, really. Everyone disagreed with me on that. I stand firm on that to this very day. Brave child, you have healed what was broken. Seer is now reborn. See their memories gather to my branches. If only I could carry this light once more, but it is no longer mine to hold. My time has come and gone. A new age must begin, death and rebirth. My child, I give the light to you. One life you must now leave behind to save the lives of all. Join now with Seer. Embrace the light. Care for this land as I once did. Yeah, we're gonna be the sapling. Could you move a little faster? Because I guarantee you what's about to happen. A little faster. A little faster, please. Please? Hi! Oh god, if this ended on a to be continued, look forward to Ori 3, with no word of an Ori 3 even on the horizon. Oh, I recognize that music. I hate to ask this, but how are the mid-mission checkpoints for this section of the game? No reason. HP left. That's where it saved us, though. It's actually phase 3, not phase 2. Coverage here. Back to here. She'll always remember the night. When hope faltered. Some chose to remain in darkness. Now phase 4. Ah! No, Zach Deft. Again with the thorns. time, Ori. And we commit suicide. Thanks, YouTube. Okay, that's impressive. I mean, that was a birth defect. There was no curse there. Well, in a few hundred years, I'll see you as the new Yggdrasil. Or local equivalent. Okay, if we're gonna grow at that rate, maybe it'll only take us a few months. That's an insane growth rate. I embraced the light. Yeah, I figured we were the narrator this whole time. It was pretty obvious. I embraced the light. When my name was Ori. Coup got big. It was the will of the Wisps. Roll credits. Also creepy faces in the bark. Let life begin anew. But then a storm hit and we lost a leaf. To be continued in Ori 3. The Reorining. Followed up by Ori 4. The Search for More Ore. Ori Harder. Oh yeah, then Ori 5. Tokyo Drift. Loud. Unfortunately, that pauses it, as it usually does. Can we skip this? I don't think so, prisoners. Shriek? She's fine. She's fine. Shriek is fine. She's just curled up in the dead waste next to the corpses of her parents. No, I do too, actually, Hazardous. This is going to sound like a strange direction to pull from, but in My Little Pony, not every villain is redeemable, because some people just are too far gone. That makes sense, right? Oh yeah, Ori 9 is Ori 1, and then Ori 10 is just called Ori and the Blind Forest. Because confusion. Ori 11 is just called Ori, no subtitle at all. I agree with that, Chris Norse. Exactly, Trihexia. Shriek's just... There's no coming back from that. She was broken as a child. You think that's going to be undone in an afternoon? I wish I could be getting some work done while this is going. We will be starting Shantae today, by the way, for those of you curious. Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Hurry up. Go. Go, Web, go. Come on. I've already hit all the buttons on the controller. Nothing seemed to happen. What? Oh, I can skip. Yes! Yes! The power! 100%. I mean, we've never given a game negative for 100% or an unskippable ending credits before, but if we did, every Ubisoft game ever made would probably get that. What was the thing you wanted me to check out? Unless it was the other thing, which I want to do anyways. Let's do quick access. So we've got the trials, which we are absolutely terrible at, the time trials, the memories, the Willow's End, the feeding grounds, the Shriek's awakening, the lost friend. End memory. Didn't someone ask? Like, didn't someone say, hey, hang out after credits? I swear someone said that. I swear I read that in chat. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Actually, I think you're right, as it is. But I know there's at least a couple that don't. And those credit sequences are hilariously good. Very briefly. I do apologize. I'll be back. Yeah. Okay, so that's what the memory sequences are. Oh, here, let's do this. I'll be right back. Apologize. Okay. Now I got alt tabbed. Now we're just gonna stay alt tabbed. Good morning, Bragman. Hello, Yura. Oh my gosh, excuse me. I don't think I have any theories, really, but that's just because of how boring I am. To me, everything that happened is actually fairly self-apparent. There's clearly a malevolent force, probably in the vague Japanese sort of style of things, which they call the Decay. It was present in the first game, and it's a major antagonist of the second game. In the first game, it was only partially an issue because of how recent the issues with the tree were. In the second game, the tree died a long time ago, so the Decay has been taking over substantially. It's just how it is. Obviously, the light of the trees and the energy they both fulfill keeps everything cool. Like that's life tree. Like it all feels fairly self-apparent and obvious to me. Obvious is the wrong word. Like simple. Simple is a good word. No negatives, just a commentary. So, what I would guess is that we both, several of us called Shriek an undead. I'd say that's actually pretty literally close to true. That she was infected with the Decay before she was born, while she was still in the egg. That's why she's so deformed, that's why she has such disability, that's why she was shunned so badly. It was because they saw her as a leper, to put it simply. Now, whether they were justified in shunning her or not, that's a little bit more debatable, but it certainly didn't help the situation. Either way, tying back into the entropy thing, we do know that decay eventually leads to things becoming just stone, aka the most sterile form of organic matter that would be possible in a natural setting like this. In short, it makes perfect sense, right? Eventually all inner energy stops, stone, petrification, yada yada yada, you get it. I guess that's all I have to say about that. With regards to Ori's obviously dead, but the entire series, I know it's only 2 games, but both games have very strongly been about death and rebirth. So the fact that Ori died, twice actually, in order to be reborn as the tree isn't really what I would call surprising. It's the sort of thing I honestly would have called. The moment we saw the first tree and saw that it was already dead, the willow tree in the second island, it's like, yeah, okay. Like, the moment I see that, the moment I understand, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to give our lives in order to rebirth the tree. Keep the cycle going, rebirth, yada, yada, yada. Sucks, but that it is. That's not what I would call an out-of-nowhere thing. That's the sort of thing that I called in the first hour of the game, right? Whether I'm satisfied with that or not is a little bit different. So, before we move forward, let's jot down some thoughts, shall we? Because outro is the kind of thing we use as a bit of a catch-all term for a reason. Who's Private Division? Oh. So now Moon... So I don't want to be too negative sounding, but Moon Studios is currently making a game under Private Division, which you're probably saying, who cares? Well, Private Division is 2K. Or Take-Two Interactive, if you prefer. And if you don't understand why I'm saying that with such a flat face, it is my personal opinion that Take-Two Interactive is the second worst gaming publisher out there right now. They're the freaking mafia. They're terrible. They're not literally the mafia. They're awful. Who's the worst? Tencent. By a huge margin. Anyways, that sucks. It's not like good games don't come out under 2K's label, but EA is not particularly bad. So for me it would be Tencent, 2K, Ubisoft, then probably Warner, which I know they've kind of stopped being as bad about it, but at the same time they kind of haven't. They're just a little bit quieter about it nowadays, so, you know. Then I would probably say, yeah, Warner's just, they're bad, but they're also inconsistently bad, but they're still pretty awful. Then I would probably go ahead and say... That's actually a tough one after that. Because there's like this bundle of mid publishers who are just kind of mid. EA, Square, Microsoft, and Sony all kind of sit in there. And if we count Nintendo. And you're probably saying, well, what's a good publisher? Anyways, Firaxis is not a publisher. In fact, Firaxis is under 2K, last I checked. Double checking. Yep, Firaxis is under 2K. I was right. Anyways, yeah, I know, Darth Trenius. It explains a lot, actually, if you look at Firaxis' track record over the last several years. Hi, Mihawk. Digital Devolver, there are several indie publishers. The problem with indie publishers is that they tend to stay off the radar, so to speak. So how good they are is actually kind of hard to gauge because there's just a lack of information. We don't really know not much about what Digital Devolver's like under the hood, so to speak, what they do in the offices and how they operate. Konami, I'm going to say this as simply as I possibly can, is not a game publisher. Like, if we're calling Konami a game publisher, then we're also calling something like Way Forward a game publisher. Yeah, exactly, Janthal. That's exactly right. Anyways. Favorite songs in Ori and the Blind Forest. So my favorite song in Ori, and I know it, well, actually there's two. One is not this one. One is this one. There's two songs that always come to mind immediately when I think of Ori and the Blind Forest. So Larian's kind of a weird one because they're not really a publisher in any real sense of the word. Like, obviously they self-publish, but that's kind of it. It's like It's like back in the day when we would call Blizzard or Bethesda a publisher. Those statements weren't really true from what we mean when we say publisher, right? Obviously, Bethesda was eventually eaten up by ZeniMax, and Blizzard was eventually eaten up by Activision. But the point remains, Larian is currently in that sweet spot of still being a self-publisher. But they're not really a publisher, they're a developer. That's what that Larian is, so... Now, as far as how good of a developer they are, see, that's an interesting question, too. I liked DOS 1, but it was very flawed. I loved DOS 2, we reviewed that, and I obviously haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. I've actually played several of their games before that, but those are the only three I would say are actually decent. Divinity Dragon Commander was a very interesting game. Calling it good is a little bit strange, and Divinity 2 had its own issues, and Beyond Divinity had its own issues, and... Love DOS 2, though. I mean, you know where I'm sitting on that, Jonathan. Yeah, good gameplay with weird structure. That's a good way to put that, Trinius. It's okay, Crazy Norse. How long will it be until Crazy Norse hears me say that? So, Ori. So that's one of my favorite songs in Ori. My other favorite song is... I know, it's funny considering how much I hate this sequence, but it's still a great song. So, what do you want from me? According to this, it's called Restoring the Light Facing the Dark. No guesses why they call it that last bit. Oh, nice, Lady Low Kitty. See, I never get that kind of stuff. Nobody notices little old me. Okay, so, favorite Ori and the Will of the Wisps songs. Let's just get this out of the way. No, to be clear, Mr. Red got the creator of Head On to join my stream. But that is still true. Man, I haven't done a mix in literal months. I have not had time. I'll think about it. I can make this song horrifying, though. Actually, if you think about it, isn't disagreeing to agree actually saying the same thing as agreeing to disagree? Think about it. I disagree with you that we agree on this topic. Anyways, that's probably my favorite song in 2, which is really weird, I know, but I stand by it. There's another one, and I don't know where it plays, so we're going to see if we can find this. Nope. Telling me that's not it. Nope again. This might be it. Just for fun. Just like while we're here comparing notes, and I'm setting this stuff up. Do you think... I guess that's a bad comparison. God dang, this is actually still a pretty short game. Shorter than Luigi's Mansion 3, shorter than Bloodstained. Shorter than... Nope, it was longer. It was longer than King's Field 4. Barely. We've been playing some long games lately. Which is funny, because you're like, no, we haven't. Well, that's just because we did Curse them in 1, Curse them in 2, and Soten, which were just bam, bam, bam. Oh, and the LTTP rando. The point I'm trying to reach is this doesn't feel like a 16-hour game. Right. That's a good point. You know, honestly, can we even call this a good game if it doesn't have, like, a 500-hour playtime? Now, I do want to do a couple of things very specifically in the audit. So I'm going to look at that donation really quick first. So thank you very, very much, Valerian. I hope you're getting those Snickers at some point. Do they do, like, delivery out where you're at? So you want to hear something funny, Valerian? This isn't really rules lawyering, this is just how the rules work. So if you donated towards Dawn Trail, then that would be it. But because Rax donated for Dawn Trail, being the... And remember, you can only donate for one thing if you're adding something to the list. You can donate for 3 things. I find that amusing. Thank you, Valerian. I will go ahead and put that down for the Breath of Fires, the Pokemons, and Dawn Trail. No to both. Like, why would I want to clone myself in general? By the way, this is the Midnight Burrows Act. At least that's what the name of the song says. Okay, I'm going to ignore chat for just a second so you can post all your extremely wonderful takes about how Final Fantasy VI is the worst game ever made, but I do want to check a few specific things with this audit, because I want to compare and contrast it to a couple other specific games. And I sort of have to do that manually. One of these days I need to figure out how to compare 2 rows directly in Google Sheets. And the reason I'm saying that out loud is if anybody knows how to do that, please feel free to let me know, without just, like, temporarily moving them. Or just doing it manually like I'm doing. Wow, I wasn't joking. We've given like 3 games ever positives for backtracking. 3. Counting this one. Don't worry, we'll get to the Metroid block someday, I swear. We've given a lot of games negatives for it. I mean, it's the same general concept, Javin. Like, you get what I mean. I'm putting that under that category. Because, yeah, you could argue that that's not really backtracking. And I'd even see your point. Metroid Dread and Mega Man 6 tracks here. Replayability, by the way, while we're here. I always like to poll the crowd on that one. Shantae is next. Yes, I feel like I just said that. Mr. Red's like, I'm not listening to you. I'm just looking at belly dancing girls. You want to hear something funny? I might share this anecdote later, too. So I was looking up some of the behind-the-scenes makings of for Shantae, because I usually do that kind of thing. And as I was doing so, I noticed that the creator and his wife had to specifically come out and admit, no, Shantae is an adult. People who are saying she's a teenager are wrong. Stop trying to do that. It's like... It's okay, if I just run fast, I'll keep ahead of them, Shadow Machine. I don't think there's anybody that uses their hair in combat, but we could probably do a whip build. That'd probably be fighter-based. Fighter or ranger. I know, right, John? Shantae, the first game we're playing, actually came out pretty long ago. It was on the Game Boy Color. So, yeah. The most recent one only came out a few years ago. There's only like 5 games, though. Soon to be 6. I know. I'm. Give me a second, Ack. Give me a second. I'm in a different mental gear right now. I mean, Luma Pools is neat and all, but I couldn't even play the song for you in my head right now if asked to. So clearly it's whatever this song is. I'm still like to play. Nobody answered me about replayability. I don't think anybody did. Replayability? Question mark? Yeah, what's your answer, Hazardous? I could see that. Hang on. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Sorry. I'll tell you at some point, Act. Yeah, so that's plus 46 to gameplay. Not shabby. I was gonna say, A Hat in Time is pretty high up there. It's in our top 10 range. Like I said, I hate to say it, I don't think this game is gonna beat Metroid Dread. In fact, I know it isn't. But Hat in Time? There it is. Hat in Time was really, really good. Like, really, really good. I'm missing something. Hang on a second. I literally just misclicked something there, so I apologize. Hey, I can fix that. We'll just do this. But I agree, this is probably the current competitor in like the boxing match that these reviews are is probably A Hat in Time. What I say this game's biggest flaw? Yes, I did, Crazy Norse. She enjoyed it. Honestly, the escape sequences. They are universally a gameplay negative and a story positive, but still, every single one of them is frustrating. Also, the controls, which is kind of one of the reasons why the escape sequences don't suck. So the escape sequences and the finickying with the controls. So those are the two big problems. Do you got some gameplay footage I could look at? There's Wellspring. Oh, right, I'm an idiot, that's why. Okay, so... Alright, so I want to kill it immediately the moment it shows up on my screen. I want it to die in a fire. And I want there to be nothing but fire. Can we burn ourselves to death in this game? Can we, like, endlessly kill ourselves forever? Can we dance ourselves to death? That's the real question. Sure, Dr. Winter. I withdrew a little bit, but it didn't make me want to crawl inside myself and scream forever, so... I don't know who that is, Crazy Norse, but they must die. If it's okay with you, Crazy Norse, I don't think I'm going to go Google cute spider. I think that's everything. Plus 37 to story. That's strong. That's really strong. Yeah, that's... I'm just gonna give this away right now. That's gonna stomp the first game. Lower shock. So we've covered a lot of platformers. Like a bunch at this point. So let's see how this lines up, shall we? Okay. So let's do this. I'm gonna just pull this off of the genre sheet just to compare these. So this comes in at our fourth. I need to figure out a way to do that. Our fourth highest ever story score for a platformer. at an astonishing 37, which is really high for a platformer. It actually does beat A Hat in Time on the narrative axis, which I stand behind. And also beats Mega Man 11 for the same general reason. It does not quite surpass games like Psychonauts 2, Shovel Knight, and of course The King, Metroid Dread. In terms of story density, that's so this is a decently long game, but that's still pretty high up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. It's actually 13th, but that's still 2.26 story pluses per hour, which is still really good, and an insanely high 97% story ratio. Gameplay-wise, 3, 4, 5. Damn, that's high. It is our 5th highest gaming platformer. Or gameplay-wise platformer. That's even more impressive, because we all know that Ori games are going to have decent story, but if you remember, Ori and the Blind Forest had a much lower, relatively speaking, platformer score. Gameplay score for a platformer. But at plus 46, that puts it in the number 5 slot behind Shovel Knight, Dread, A Hat in Time, and Mega Man 11. Density-wise, pretty far down the list, actually, compared to that, because most platformers are short, and most platformers are... What, Javin? Most platformers are short, and most platformers have really good gameplay, so density is through the roof. But still a respectable 2.77 pluses per hour, which sounds low, but no, that's really good. That's really, really good. It's not quite to the level of, say, 14 pluses per hour like some of the really high games get, but, you know, whatever. Gameplay ratio of 70, that's wrong, 84.85%, which is decent. Leaving us with a golden number of, now hang on, 2, 3, 4. Drum roll, please. So, PMD is the best game ever. Metroid Dread has a bonkers 366 gameplay score. Golden number score, 366. Shovel Knight came in below that at 342. Mega Man 11 came in below that at 336. A Hat in Time is a pretty big jump down. Still a great, great game, but at 245. Followed then by Mega Man 5, which is 234, and Psychonauts 2, which is 211. And I'll stop there. So that's kind of the top 10-ish. Ori and the Will-O-Wisps comes in at 258.9. With some weird music choices here. Ahem. In case you didn't hear me, because the music was being weird, that was 258.9. Looks like Ect is actually the winner. But no, that's really, really good. That is a damned good score. That actually puts it as our 4th highest platformer we've ever covered. And it's only beaten by the Total Giants. They're the ones that are just the bonkers good ones. It was weird. I heard a real life dog going, oh, 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 while this music was playing. And I thought it was part of the song for just a second. So yes, Ect wins. Congratulations, Ect. I'll put that towards the PMD block. Let me nuke these. The next game we'll be covering is just plain old Shantae, as in the first one, the one that came out on the Game Boy Color. We will, of course, be playing the Switch version. In fact, we'll be playing the Switch version of every Shantae game, because of course we will. More platformers! Listen, it's just platformers all the way down, okay? Yeah, I guess that's actually it. This honestly impressed the crap out of me. Oh, right, and to compare them directly, forgive me. So, Ori and the Blind Forest got 146, whereas Ori and the Will of the Wisps got 258. Now, if you know the system, you know anything above 100 is a good game, is a damn good game. Anything over 200 is a very good game, so that's a hell of a jump up in terms of how the games are scored. And it did beat A Hat in Time. Just barely, but it did manage to eke out A Hat in Time. I'm a little bit surprised by that, actually, because A Hat in Time was extremely good. But that's life, right? Inches amongst giants. I recommend both games for completely different reasons. I'm going to go get some paperwork done. See you guys.